I kind of miss animated movies. You know what I mean? Like the Disney animated movies. They're just making live action stuff now.
Oh, are you talking about stuff like Lion King, Dumbo, and Aladdin? Specifically 2D animated movies?
Yeah.
Oh. They don't. I mean, I'm sure they're going to make a sequel to Frozen or something, but you don't like CGI that much, do you?
Yeah, I enjoy CGI. But I mean, there's just something classic feeling about, you know, the 2D animation. Right. Even when they started to kind of get a little bit more high tech with it, because I know around the time Tarzan came out, they were doing a little bit more like a computer program animating rather than hand drawn.
Right. Especially when he was kind of gliding through the, sliding through the trees. Tarzan still looks fantastic. I mean, I love how that film
man,
looks.
It looks amazing.
Oh man, the way he just kind of goes through the trees and stuff. How creative is that, you know? I mean, what sort of mind thought of that? You know, it's just incredible. I would have never thought of that, how he was just kind of going through the trees like that. You know, I often thought, you know, him going through, you know, vines and stuff, you know, just standard stuff. You know, at the most I would have probably thought Spider-Man, nothing else.
And they also like managed to make it look good too, because the you know crisscrossing your legs and kind of gliding like that, it could look really, really silly, you know, if not done right.
Right. And also the way Tarzan walked too, you know, this is one thing, it should be kind of a given. Tarzan walks like a gorilla, being raised by gorillas. But, you know, the old Tarzan adaptations, he never walked like a gorilla.
Yeah.
He was standing upright. Tarzan, what are you doing here? I heard your call. You know, it's just, he was just like a regular guy. He didn't feel like he was raised by gorillas.
There was like this new live action Tarzan movie they made recently, starring Eric Skarsgård.
Okay.
And I mean, the movie was kind of forgettable, but there was one aspect that I really liked, and it was that his time from living in the jungle had made his like, where his like knuckles like connected, it was like longer there because of how apes have their hands on the ground.
Right.
And I thought that was a really nice detail.
Was that CGI? I mean, obviously it has to be.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, anybody got ape hands here? They got the job of Tarzan, you know?
I bet there's someone out there who has some great hands for that.
Mother finally having ape hands actually paid out. Reminds me of that Seinfeld episodes where George Costanza becomes a hand model. Do you watch Seinfeld, or?
I don't think I ever watched a full episode. I just saw bits of it here and there.
Right.
Enough to, you know, get familiar with, you know, Jerry Stiller and I don't know the actress's name, but the people who played George's parents and the loudest actor and actress in the world.
They're the best characters in the whole series.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that for a second. Jerry Stiller is just, that's probably one of his most iconic roles. I think the last time I saw him was in like Along Came Polly or something, some Ben Stiller movie where he played Ben Stiller's dad.
Oh, okay, that works.
Those are always interesting too, like where real brothers or family members will be in a movie together as their like actual family.
What other example is there other than, of course, Ben Stiller and Jerry Stiller? Yes. Like I know Charlie Sheen and his father. I forget his father. Martin Sheen, yeah, in Wall Street.
I don't know if they played brothers, but I know Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson were both in the film Bottle Rocket.
Oh, right, yeah, I remember that one. No, they weren't brothers, they were friends. It was Wes Anderson's first film.
Yeah. And actually they did play brothers. No, they still weren't brothers later on in the Royal Tenenbaums. No. He was just like a family friend. He wished he was a Tenenbaum.
Yeah.
Wilson did.
There was the Jackie Chan film Around the World in 80 Days. where they played the Wright brothers.
Oh yeah, there we go.
There we go. Yeah.
I guess The Rock is gonna have his real family be in Hobbs and Shaw
What?
when it comes out.
Really? As what?
Yeah. Like I guess his brothers or cousins or something like that.
Oh wow. I know The Rock, before he came in, his first name was Rocky Maivia or something like that, and his father, he was a famous wrestler too. I just don't remember his name.
Yeah, Rocky Johnson. He's
Oh.
Canadian retired professional wrestler.
Oh wow, really? Wow. Okay. There were a lot
Yeah.
of Canadian wrestlers. I mean, there's Bret Hart. Edge is Canadian.
Oh really?
Yeah. I mean,
See,
yeah.
Edge is one of the few people I know just because he was in a TV show.
Was it Mad
I
TV?
don't- It was not. He was actually a recurring character, and he did a pretty good job acting. It was a show
Oh.
called Haven.
Oh, okay.
It was based off of Stephen King's The Colorado Kid. The show was really interesting because everyone had a curse,
Okay.
and so what his curse was that he was literally a bullet magnet, like
Oh.
which he found out in Iraq.
Was he a soldier?
Yeah, he was a soldier, and basically all the bullets that should have gone and hit other people, like, got diverted and hit him.
It's a comedy?
No, it's not.
It sounds like one, though. He's a bullet magnet. Could be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't really play it that cartoony.
Okay.
Like it's like, but he's always wearing a bulletproof vest.
Okay.
Because I think the safe thing, like, it's a curse, but at the same time, the safe thing is that it always hits him in the chest.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Oh man, I still can't see that as something serious for some reason. It sounds too funny.
I guess it is kind of lighthearted compared to other Stephen King works,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also Stephen King works are one part scary and another part like miserable, if that makes sense, or like sullen,
Right.
sorrowful.
Okay.
You know what I mean, like, or
Yeah, I think I see what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's kind of like this mood, like it's like this ambiguous, like there's happy moments, but overall everyone's kind of depressed about it. Yeah, because some of them actually have useful curses, and then some of them just have like really shit ones.
Do you normally like Stephen King adaptations?
I mean, I don't watch stuff specifically because it's a Stephen King adaptation, or at least I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I sort of am, like, because I heard they're adapting The Stand,
Mm-hmm.
and they're making a Dark Tower TV series for Amazon.
Okay. Well, the
And
movie
so-
didn't do very well, so.
Yeah. And something else too that's like one of his more fantasy related stories. But so
The Stand actually is a pretty good book.
I've heard it made people terrified of hospitals.
Oh, really? Huh. Kind of
Or-
like
or
how
needles
Jaws
or
made people
sickness.
afraid of the ocean? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that made me very very curious to see how it plays out.
Have you read some of his work, or is it mostly through the movies that you know?
Whenever I say this guy's name, people always think of the Family Guy joke.
Oh.
But I actually read a lot of Dean Koontz as opposed to Stephen King when I
Oh.
was younger.
Okay.
So he's not. I don't think they're that comparable. I mean, Dean Koontz, some of the books were kind of scary, but he's more a master of suspense, whereas Stephen King is the master of horror.
Stephen King, when you read his work, you kind of understand why his stuff is being adapted to movies quite a bit, because he's writing it very visually. Because most of his writing style, even though he read a lot, he actually used to frequent movies a lot. So because of that, he kind of knew the visual language quite a bit. And when you read The Stand, you know, the stuff that's happening in there, it's almost like a movie's playing in your head while reading it.
You're terrified, but at the same time you're glued to the page because you need to know what's going to happen next.
Right. Since I read his work when I was a little older, I was never really terrified with Steve, but I was definitely glued to the page.